Hello everyone, Steven here from Redolessence and welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for watching, and today I'm very excited to be sharing with you my top 10 favorite fragrances to wear in a suit and tie. So my top 10 formal fragrances. So this is going to be a mix of different fragrances. I have some designers in here, I have some niche fragrances in this list, and I do want to apologize if I sound a little bit congested. I'm actually getting over a little bit of a cold. But thank you so much for watching. I wanted to get this video out, I wanted to do this video, so thank you for your time and for watching this video. So I have a few disclaimers that I want to throw out there before I get into this list. The first thing that I want to mention is that these are fragrances that I have in my collection. So I don't have any Raja Doves. I think this list could have easily been filled with Raja Dove fragrances. I don't have any Clive Christian fragrances. I think there could have been many Clive Christian fragrances in this list. So I'm basically just going off of the fragrances that I have in my collection. Secondly, I do want to mention that this is my list. I didn't find it online. I didn't find it in a magazine or anything like that. I put it together, so thank you so much for watching it. Thank you for appreciating it. And lastly, the order in which these fragrances are placed is really at random. I didn't put them in any order, and these are fragrances that cater to my personal taste. I would say that in my collection I have many fragrances that I could find or I would consider appropriate or suitable for formal wear, but I'm basically just going off of my 10 favorite ones. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and jump into the list. I don't have any honorable mentions, but let's start off with number 10. Again, no particular order. They're all great for formal wear, but number 10 on my list is a fragrance that I had, I want to say since 2007. I remember when I went overseas to Greece in 2007, and I bought this one duty-free, and I have been wearing it non-stop still since then. I have gone through many bottles of this fragrance, the 50 ml, the 100 ml, and I currently have a 100 ml in my collection. I've reviewed this fragrance. This one is actually by Armani, and this fragrance is called Attitude. So the bottle is really cool. It kind of looks like a Zippo lighter. I don't know if you've ever seen this one. The cap opens up just like that. The sprayer is actually pretty good on this one too. Excellent distribution. This one kind of has like a lavender, coffee, lemon feel to it. So the lemon, that citrus, adds that really sharp, refined quality to the composition, whereas there's a little bit of sweetness in the background, some resins that give it that, you know, kind of like a mature but also youthful, sophisticated vibe, where it's not too dated, it's not too old smelling, but it definitely does have this, or it radiates this professional aura to it. Really nice fragrance. I used to love wearing this one in a suit and tie whenever I had any sort of formal occasion to attend to. This was my Swiss Army knife, or my Zippo lighter. So number 9 on my list is another one of my favorites. Believe it or not, it actually is the same perfumer. This one was a collaboration. Number 9 was composed exclusively by her. This one is actually a Dior Privé fragrance. I love the Dior private line, the La Collection Privé line. This is actually one of my favorites from that line. This is a beautiful mix of really smooth, velvety, cloudy iris with some honey and resins and cypress and myrrh. It's just a gorgeous fragrance all around. This one is called Bois d'Argent. So this is by Annick Menardo, beautiful fragrance by Dior. It definitely has that upscale, you know, sensual, mature feel to it. Again, perfect for a suit and tie occasion. I think this would work well in a business meeting, if you're going to a wedding, if you're going to, you know, just to work. I think this would work well all around, and I have gotten quite a few compliments from this fragrance, and I think that this is one that would appeal to a wide variety of different people. So number 9 on my list, Bois d'Argent, from the house of Christian Dior, part of the Privé line. Number 8 on my list is, it really was a toss-up for me, you know. I think that there are a lot of fragrances from this line that would work so well in a formal scenario, and this is actually a Tom Ford private blend. Now, I do think that the original Noir would work very well. It's not part of the private blend line, but I do think Noir would work very well suit and tie, dressed up. I think that Noir de Noir is more of a playful scent, but you can definitely wear it in a suit and tie. Tobacco Oud, which one? Oud Wood. Tobacco Vanille even. The one that I picked, the one that I think really smells like $1,000,000 is Tuscan Leather. This is one of my favorite suit and tie fragrances. You have that leather note in there that smells so genuine and so authentic, so true to form, but then you also have this berry note which adds a little bit of characteristic and a little bit of depth and sensuality to the composition. Really adds almost a layer of playfulness too, if you will, but it still smells like $1,000,000. You will quite quite honestly feel like a boss whenever you wear this fragrance. So number 8 on my list, Tuscan Leather by Tom Ford, part of the Private Blend. Number 7 on my list is a fragrance that I always used to wear whenever I had a formal occasion to attend to. This is quite honestly one of the most beautiful vetivers that I have ever gotten my nose on, and I just think that this exudes class and sophistication. This is from the House of Guerlain, and unfortunately it has gone through a few reformulations. This is one of the first reformulated fragrances in my collection. This is actually Vetiver by Guerlain. This is a beautiful, very sharp, citrusy, clean, refined, very also grassy, but clean smelling vetiver. It's kind of along the same lines as Mugler Cologne. It's not quite the rich and dirty vetiver like Profumum Roma's Fumidas or Queer 28 or Vetiver 46 by Le Labo, or even Lorenzo Villoresi's vetiver. I think those are very dirty vetivers. This is a very sharp, clean, refined vetiver. Beautiful, works really, really well in formal occasions. And number 6 on my list is a fragrance from a house that I think has a lot of playful fragrances, a lot of sweet gourmand fragrances, but I also think that they have a lot of classy fragrances, and this is one of the classiest ones, if not the classiest one from this house. This is a by Kilian, and this one is called Straight to Heaven. Jeez, this one opens up with this beautiful, intoxicating rum note. And you have some spices in there in the background, like you have nutmeg and a few other spices that kind of go hand in hand to give off that boozy characteristic that you get in the opening. But this is a very upscale and luxurious smelling fragrance. Whenever I'm going to put on a suit and tie, if just like Tuscan Leather, if I want to smell like $1,000,000, I will definitely reach for this fragrance. Also happens to be one of my favorites from this house, and I absolutely love it. So this one is Straight to Heaven, not to be confused with A Taste of Heaven. This one is Straight to Heaven. Number 5 on my list, one of my top 5 favorite fragrances, even though there are in no particular order, but this one to me, whenever I smell it, it kind of evokes like a gold color or a gold aura. I don't know how to explain it, but I just see gold whenever I smell this fragrance. It has African orange flower. Again, whenever you add florals or citrus, you kind of give off that feeling with the florals, like you're not here to play around, you're not here to mess around. And then when you add the citrus on top of it, it just adds a very sharp, refined characteristic to it. This one is a rather soapy, chamomile, African orange flower tobacco fragrance. This is by Xerjoff, and it's called Oroville. It used to be called Oroville Tobacco or Tobacco Oroville. Just an absolutely beautiful, amazing, ultra refined, seductive, and sexy fragrance. I'm so happy to have this one in my collection, and you will get heads to turn whenever you're wearing this fragrance, as well as any Xerjoff, to be honest with you. Xerjoff is just a house with which you can't really go bad, I mean, it's such a spectacular house. Number 4, along with Guerlain's Vetiver in the designer genre, it was really a 3-way rotation between this fragrance, Attitude, and this next one that I'm about to present to you. This is from the House of Chanel, and it's a composition by Jacques Polge, who is the father of Olivier Polge, and Jacques Polge is currently the in-house perfumer for the House of Chanel until he announces his retirement, and then the throne will go to Olivier Polge. This used to be one of my staples when I went on a night out and I wanted to dress up, shirt and tie, suit and tie, nice button down or something along those lines. This one is Pour Monsieur. Concentrate. Beautiful fragrance. You have cardamom, you have lavender. Whenever you add lavender in a scent, you're giving it this undeniably and unmistakably masculine but very classy feel to it. But it's not quite a fougere in the sense that you have this cardamom spiciness, but also a vanilla note that adds this layer of, playfulness to the composition. Just like, in Tuscan Leather with that berry note adding a little bit of that sweetness, you also have vanilla adding a little bit of that sweetness. And we all know cardamom, especially as it's used in fragrances like La Nuit de l'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent, adds this very sexy quality to the fragrance. That's what you get in here. It's sexy, but it's sophisticated at the same time. Number 3 on my list is my most complimented scent to date. I know a lot of people actually share that sentiment with me. This happens to be one of my favorites for this house. It's actually in the top 3 of my favorite fragrances from this house. Everybody knows about this fragrance. Everybody has heard of it, but it works so well in all scenarios. Why not in a suit and tie? This one is by Creed, and it's called Aventus. So of course, Aventus, you have pineapple, apple, black currant, you have a fruity opening, and then you have some rose, which adds that sensuality with a little bit of birch tar, giving it that contemporary masculine quality. And then it dries down to vanilla, cedarwood, and amber accord. It's just beautiful all around, smells incredibly natural, very vivacious, very full of life. Beautiful fragrance from the House of Creed. This one is called Aventus, and you will turn heads every time you wear it. Works very well in a suit and tie, and it lingers for a long time. Number 2 on my list is a fragrance that made my starting lineup on my collaboration that I did with Chad. So if you'd like to see this video, please click the annotation in the upper left-hand corner, or make sure to follow the link in the description section below. This one is by far one of my top 3 favorite Nascimados, the same way that this is one of my top 3 favorite Creeds, this is one of my top 3 favorite private blends. I tend to go with my favorites, and like I said, this list is based off of the fragrances that cater to my personal taste. This one is a beautiful melange of patchouli, you have magnolia, which gives it that floral, sensual feel in the mid. You also have this cacao or chocolate feel in the dry down, which just carries on that sensuality. This one from the house of Nascimato is called Pardon. Again, another one of these fragrances that whenever you wear it, you show people that you mean business and you're not here to mess around. Beautiful fragrance. You have those florals that linger in it. You have that, sweet quality that adds a layer of playfulness. It's just an overall amazing fragrance. If you're going to wear it in a suit and tie, you're going to create an unforgettable experience for the person who's smelling it. One of my favorites. Definitely make sure you check it out. And the number 1 fragrance on my list was my suit and tie fragrance on my very first starting lineup. I cannot get enough of this fragrance. This is actually one of my favorites, also composed by one of my favorite perfumers, which is Bertrand Duchaufour. This one is just a phenomenal scent from the House of Amouage. You have resins in there, you have sweetness, which is brought forth by like vanilla and I think galbanum and other resins and benzoin and cinnamon, but you also have this blackberry note in the opening with a Popinax, which is a sweet variety of myrrh, and this one is called Jubilation 25. So this fragrance was created by Bertrand Duchaufour in commemoration of the 25th anniversary of the House of Amouage. Beautiful presentation, amazing fragrance, drop dead gorgeous. You will smell like $1 billion, not just $1 million, $1 billion. One of my favorite fragrances, hands down. You cannot go wrong with Jubilation 25 if you want to really make an impression. So there you have it, guys. These have been my top 10 favorite fragrances to wear in a suit and tie for formal occasions. So if you own or have tried any of these fragrances, please let me know what you think by leaving a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to rate and subscribe for future videos and frequent giveaways. So again, thank you so much for watching. This has been Steven with another video from Redolessence. See you soon.